Peace is slowly starting to return to the days here in Malaysia, if we choose to ignore the new Omicron variant, that is. But with most of the traveling restrictions now being lifted, we find ourselves frequenting malls, parks, restaurants, flooding the roads with cars, each trying to get where we want to be, causing a traffic jam. But what if we told you that there was another way of getting from point A to your desired point B? You guessed it, we're talking about commuting via light rail transit and mass rapid transit, LRT and MRT for short.
In Malaysia, the LRT and MRT are one of the many different methods you can use to get by, from point A to point B and everything in between. Over the years, commuting platforms have grown exponentially, but they aren't really used on the same scale they were originally constructed for. Which is why our demonstrative speech video today will hopefully leave you with some nifty tips and tricks in commuting via LRT and MRT. And as someone who has been regularly commuting for a little over 5 years myself, I can surely say I know my way around. On that note, there are a bunch of different things that I've learned in making use of the LRTs and MRTs throughout my years of commuting. To best utilize the widely structured platforms of LRTs and MRTs, you can decide on the options in getting to the stations, using your NRIC as a commuting pass, and finding the best routes and planning where you want to go. And oh, would you look at that? I just happened to want to take a train to a bookstore and find some books myself.
Wow, what a coincidence. I was actually thinking of going to a movie date as well.
Great heavens! Well, I guess then my good friend Aina Mardia and I, Iyas Haris, will talk you, the viewers, through the whole process as we make our way to our destination then.
With that, let's be on our way. And don't forget the usual SOPs. Sanitize, mask, distance, you know the drill. Can never be too careful.
Let's go!
Let's start with the basics, which is getting to the stations. Obviously, there are many ways that we can get there, but we must first pick a station. Some factors that we can take into consideration are things such as the proximity of the station to our current location, the proximity of the station to where we want to be, and simply whether or not the station just has more attractive people that we can stare at while we wait for our next train. Whatever goes, just pick one and we're good to go. From there, we can take a look at all of our options. For example, since we are in McDonald's, Dinay Alam, the closest station to where we are is MRT Central MRT station. So we can either drive there ourselves, take a Grab, or ride feeders or shuttle buses. For buses, we can surf the internet for feeders that pass by where we are. Because I am currently leashing off the services of my future boyfriend, I am able to drive there. However, my friend Iyas Haris will be riding a bus to demonstrate his humble beginnings. We'll meet up with him at the station. Let's go! Alright, we're on our way to the station, which means that it's time for an MRT fact. So on December 16, 2016, the construction of Phase 1 of MRT Kajang line, which spans 23 kilometers from Sungai Buloh to Semantan, was completed and opened to the public. Phase 2, which focuses on the remaining portion from Semantan to Gajah, was completed on 17 July 2017, allowing the entire line to enter full revenue service by then.
Hello again, Iyas here. As you can see, I just hopped off the feeder bus off at MRT Central MRT station. So before we make our way up to the platforms and learning how to use our NRICs as our commuting pass, let's try looking for our good friend Aina and her +1. But man, there is something about riding a feeder bus. There's this sense of solitude that you get. Very nice. Oh, I think I have just spotted our friend Aina. Let's meet up with her.
With LRTs and MRTs, we'll be using tokens to get from one station to another. However, if you're a Malaysian citizen, you can make use of your National Registration Identity Card or your NRIC as an alternative to these tokens. This is extremely helpful in situations such as this one or this one. Either way, your IC is extremely helpful and extremely important, so try not to forget it at home. Now let's move on to our next know-how while we move to our next destination.
Alright, since the camera's here, I'm guessing Aina's already told you about using your IC as a pass. Good job! You're one step closer to commuting like a true veteran that commutes? Alright, let's come with me. So here is the map, infamous for confusing first-time commuters. Generally speaking, there are two icons that you want to keep in mind. They are these two icons over here. One indicates a connecting station, while the other indicates an interchange station. What's the difference, might you ask? Well, let's take a look again at the icons. And from here, we can infer that a connecting station probably means that another station or platform is within a short walking distance. And an interchange station means that the other station or platform is already within the same building. If that's what you inferred to, then yay! If not, it's okay. That's why we're here after all. Other than my book hunting plans and Aina's little movie date. And we are in! So remember how I told you guys about the map that was infamous for confusing first-time commuters? So down these two lists are the names of all the stations that are connected through this long line of concrete tracks. For starters, that is usually all you need to know. But since you have Aina and myself here with you, we were able to take a look at some of the more confusing but useful icons and how to spot them. With that out of the way, let's make our way up to the platforms. Just to make sure we don't get on the wrong train, double check to see if the platform we're on is headed in the right direction. You can do this by simply taking a look at the two lists I mentioned earlier, like so. So for today, we are going to KLCC. But oh, that station is nowhere to be seen on this list. That's because we'll be stopping at the connecting station Museum Negara, and then walking to KL Central and hopping on the Gajah LRT line zooming straight to KLCC. Now how do we know that Museum Negara is the connecting station? We'll take a look at the icons at the bottom. So we can see here that this icon of a man walking or a person walking is the connecting station. Here we can see at Museum Negara that we see a person walking, which signifies that it's a connecting station. And then we'll take a look at this one, which is LRT Laluan Gajah. And we can see that that icon is also here, means that we can access that line through this station. So we are here on the platforms, and as you can see, the train just left. So if you're not sure as to how long you should wait until the next train arrives, just look up. Like actually look up. There you go. So here you should be able to see these overhead monitors indicating how much longer till the next train arrives. And it is about 2 minutes until ours. Now, we wait.
Don't leave me!
Safe.
Okay guys, we are now aboard the train. Now remember what I said about SOPs earlier? Make sure you sanitize before holding handles and bars. So up until a while ago, they had cross stickers separating seated passengers by 1 set each. But even though they no longer have it, you might still want to mind your distance. Again, can never be too careful. Oh, also, make sure you don't fall asleep while on the train. There are a few reasons as to why I say this. One is, yes, you guessed it, you might miss your stop. And the other is to prevent any of your belongings from being stolen or pickpocketed, or just generally to avoid any form of assault. Just to remind you that we are headed to Museum Negara, a connecting station, which means that we'll be taking a short stroll before getting to the next station. So if you notice we're getting close to our station, let us know in case we miss it. Ooh, and one other tip that I can give you is signs are your friends. So if you ever find yourself in a location other than you expected, take a step back and look around for any overhead signs that will show you where to go. If you're someone who isn't good with signs, don't be afraid to ask a commuting passerby where you are and where you should go. From here, the clips you'll be seeing will be repetitions of everything that we've talked over earlier with slight variations here and there. See you in a bit! Alright, so we are walking from Museum Negara to KL Central. That means that we have time for an LRT fact. So the first LRT line, named Star LRT after its owner, was constructed and opened completely in 1998. So the original system consisted of 36 stations along two routes, which are Sentul Timur to Ampang and Sentul Timur to Sri Petali. What about the next fact? Yes?
Okay, so the LRT Kelanajaya line, which is the line that we're currently headed to, is a rapid transit line and the first fully automated and driverless rail system in the Klang Valley area. And it forms a part of the Klang Valley integrated transit system in and around Kuala Lumpur. So that's all for now, and yeah, we'll see you at the end. And this is KL Central. No.
We have arrived at our destination. Yas is gearing up to go book hunting, and I think my movie is showing soon. So to just recap everything that we've learned today, there are a few things that you should know about getting around using the light rail transit (LRT) and the mass rapid transit (MRT). Firstly, we have to identify the most suitable station for our journey. This could mean things like the proximity of the station to us or to the places that we're going to. Then we can also use the tokens to get around, or just reload the touch and go services in our NRIC. Finally, we need to consider several factors in planning our routes to and back. These could mean things like time efficiency, cost efficiency, or to just take the scenic route and opt for a Sunday drive by taking your time, appreciating not just the destination, but also the trip.
In short, if you want to avoid traffic jams on the road, try checking if your destination has an LRT or MRT station connected to or nearby it. At least now you'll be able to navigate yourself a little better through the ever-expanding infrastructure of public transport via LRT and MRT. That is all from me, Iyas Haris, and my good friend Aina Mardia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you. Bye.
Bye!